appeared and attacked him with some kunai. Yamato pulling out his own, they clashed. Then Naruto used his leaf Shunshin to quickly attack Yamato. Yamato was suddenly put on the defensive, being attacked by both Naruto and Sai's attacks. He failed to notice that Naruto was purposely swarming the air with leaves. Yakumo watched from the tree. Perfect, Naruto. Now it's my turn. Demonic illusion. Dissolving leaf Jinjutsu. Then Yakumo disappeared into the swirl of leaves. As Naruto and Sai pressed the attack, Naruto was trying to make eye contact. He's purposely avoiding my eye contact. I guess it's time to use that jutsu. Unsealing his sword once more, he pressed some chakra on it. Then the Uzumaki swirl on the end glowed a little. He then sliced the sword right in front of him, making sure he looked at the crest. Now Yakumo. Then with his Sharingan, he was able to notice Yakumo swipe the bells. Sai, back away now. Then they retreated about 20 feet back. Yakumo, dropping the Jinjutsu, appeared at their side. It's over, sensei. Yamato looked at his waist and saw that he still had his bells. I don't know what you mean. I still have my bells. Do you, sensei? Asked Naruto. Yamato, not wanting to believing it, looked down back at his waist. Dispelling the Jinjutsu, he saw his bells were gone. How? We never made eye contact. As well, you didn't make any hand signs. The Yakumo and Naruto smiled, while Sai gave the best he could. It was actually me who stole them, sensei, exclaimed Yakumo as she pulled out the two bells. You see, when Naruto used his leaf Shunshin, I hid in the leaves using a Jinjutsu. Then Naruto placed a Jinjutsu on you, and I stole the bells, explained Yakumo. You see, sensei, I have more than one way to cast a Sharingan Jinjutsu. The end of my sword here has a seal I created, a seal which connects my line of vision with it. So the moment you looked at it, it was the same as looking into my eyes, explained Naruto. Incredible. I don't know about the other two, but Naruto is easily Chunin level, thought Yamato. Impressive, you three, though. Who gets the bells? I did say only two would pass, pointed out Yamato. Surprising, it was Sai who acted. Grabbing the two bells, he threw them back at Yamato. You see, sensei, in this team, we don't abandon a comrade. Isn't that right, Naruto? Naruto smiled. Maybe he wouldn't be too bad. That's right, exclaimed Yakumo. Either all of us or none of us, stated Naruto. Yamato smiled. Well, you guys fail. What? Shouted Naruto and Yakumo. Sai's smile disappeared. Yamato then crackled up. I'm kidding, guys, you passed with flying colors. You showed great teamwork and skill. Each one of you guys. I'm guessing you guys already figured out the test. So, we are now officially Team 11. Why, you see that, Naruto. Meet me here tomorrow for our first mission, 7 o'clock sharp. Then Yamato disappeared in his Hunshin. So, we're no officially team? How about we go celebrate? Asked Naruto. Yakumo gave Naruto a nod and smiled. Sai gave them a confused look. Celebrate? All we did was pass a Genin test. Naruto sighed. Team bonding, Sai. We're practically family now, and family well should celebrate important things such as this. So come on, but I ain't buying for everyone. You're so cheap, Naruto, said Yakumo. Only when it comes to Haruka you pay. Naruto stuck his tongue out and began to walk towards the village, and Yakumo followed behind. After a couple of feet, they noticed Sai hadn't moved an inch. Family, pondered Sai. Are you coming? If you're going to be picky about paying, Yakumo will cover you, spoke out Naruto. Yakumo's eye twitched, and then she punched Naruto in the shoulder. Hey, stop being so cheap, you can pay yourself. Ironic that you're calling me cheap when you don't want to pay yourself, pointed out Naruto. Yakumo crossed her arms. Fine, I'll show you that the Kurama clan isn't some. Naruto also developed a twitch on his eyebrow. Why you? Guys, it wasn't about the money. I just got lost in my own thoughts, interrupted Sai. Fine, let's go, said Naruto as they all begun walking to town. As they made their way there, Naruto and Yakumo broke into another argument. Ramen, exclaimed Naruto. Dango, shouted back Yakumo. Sai watched with curiosity as they two bickered at each other. Is this how family interacts? A lot of bickering, if you ask me. All right, we'll eat Dango today, but next time it is ramen, said Naruto in defeat. Yakumo smiled and put her arms around Naruto and Sai's necks. I win Dango, it is every had it, Sai? Sai shook his head. It's rather unhealthy, so I try to not eat it. Yakumo looked at Sai with horror. Well, you're missing out on the food of gods. Don't worry, I'll save you from your misery. Grabbing Naruto and Sai's hands, she raced to the closet dango shop. Sai looked at their holding hands, family. With Yamato. Yamato shunshined into the third Hokage's office, Team 11 pass. The third Hokage smiled, as expected. What do you think of your new squad? Yamato looked into the eyes of the third Hokage. They're a very talented squad. Especially Naruto. He took me by surprise a couple times. Though Lord Third, do you really think I'm fit to be a Jonin sensei? Third Hokage gave him a hearty chuckle. Pulling out his pipe, he lit it up. Taking a long puff, I thought the same when I first became a sensei too. Even though I wished Orochimaru would have turned out a bit different, I did end up teaching the legendary Sannin. Who knows, you might do the same. Yakumo gave him a nod. Thank you, Lord Third. You've cleared any doubts I had. I'm just a bit nervous. It's perfectly fine. Being nervous means you care about actually doing a good job. Anything else, Yamato? Asked Hiruzen. The Mokuton user shook his head. That will be all, Lord Third. And he proceeded to walk out of the room. As he left the building, he noticed Kakashi standing at the exit. You need something, Kakashi? Asked Yamato. Kakashi shrugged his shoulders, curious about your team. Did they pass? Yamato gave a smile and shook his head. Yes, I now know why you wanted Naruto. A very talented kid, isn't he? Natural leader, an excellent tactician, and a very talented ninja overall. Kakashi shook his head. That's not why. Yamato gave him a questioning look. Then why? Kakashi looked up to the sky. Obito, Yamato, you may no longer be my subordinate, but you still got tons to learn. Looking back down at Yamato, I really wanted him because he shares the same ninja way as me. The ninja way of never abandoning a comrade. That's what I look into a team and why I haven't passed a team. Maybe this time will be different. I'll just have to wait until tomorrow. Yamato nodded at his old captain's response. Then he smiled. So, consider me your equal then? Kakashi gave him an eye smile. Not really, Yamato deadpanned, but you're getting closer. Next morning. UGHH, why can't we do something more interesting? This is like our third D-rank mission, this morning, complained Naruto. Naruto, Sai, and Yakumo currently had trash bags tied to their back as they picked trash out of the small stream. While Yamato was sitting on a tree branch sharpening his kunai. Well, Naruto, if you guys didn't do these so quickly, then maybe you wouldn't have to do as much. As well, I don't see why you're complaining. The more D ranks you complete, the closer you get to an actual C rank. At this rate, you might get your first in 1 month. What? Shouted both Naruto and Yakumo. Sai didn't complain since he lived with the belief that a mission should be completed no matter what. Yamato laughed at them. You're actually lucky you haven't had to chase the cat, Tora. I heard it takes most experienced Genin teams at least a half hour to find it, and an hour chasing it. Naruto clenched his fist. What? No cat scares me. Next time that mission is available, we're taking it. Naruto, don't get so excited. This is like our third mission today, and it isn't even noon. If you keep challenging every hard mission Yamato-sensei mentions, we will be here all day, lectured Yakumo. Whiskers, you should listen to us, right? We shouldn't be exhausting ourselves on D-rank missions, said Sai. Naruto's eye twitched. Whiskers? Why are you calling me that? Did Sasuke tell you to? Sai shook his head. As he pulled out a small book, I read that friends usually give each other nicknames. So, I decided to give you one, and I came up with Whiskers. Though I haven't came up with one for Yakumo and Yamato-sensei. Maybe ugly and would freak, answered Sai. Then his face went flying into the water. Call me ugly again, and I'll kill you, yelled Yakumo. Sai resurfaced. If you don't like it, I can come up with something else. How about flat? Suddenly Naruto covered his mouth. Haha, Sai, I think you should really stop giving nicknames. I don't think flat dash, Yakumo will appreciate it. What were you gonna call me, Naruto? Asked Yakumo as her voice took a deadly sweetened turn. Naruto shook his hands in the air. Nothing, I swear. Thought so. And Yakumo returned to work. Naruto wiped the sweat from his forehead. This is going to be a long month. 1 month later. Team 11 were patiently waiting outside of the door. Naruto was making a seal design in his notebook, Yakumo was drawing in her sketchbook, and Sai was reading a book, Understanding Your Friend's Emotions. Their sensei, Yamato, was just chatting with some jonin with big bushy eyebrows. Then they heard the fourth Hokage call them in. Team 11, come in. Team 11 walked in the room and stood single-filed in front the fourth Hokage and the Chunin helping him. The fourth Hokage's eyes darted from right to left, starting with Yamato and ending with Naruto. His eyes paused on Naruto for a second longer before he talked. 41 D-rank missions in 1 month. Impressive record. We usually don't hand out a C-rank mission until at least 2 months, but I'll make an exception, stated Minato. Grabbing a scroll, he tossed it to Yamato. Your mission is simple. You will back up and escort a Taki Jonin back to Takigakure. There should be no threats, but this Jonin is the son of the leader of Taki. Minato then yelled, let him in. Naruto and the rest of his team turned around. A man wearing gray pants, a green shirt, ninja scandals walked in. As Naruto took a better look at the man, he noticed he had long brown hair, and he was wearing the Taki forehead protector. Hello, Shibuki. This is Team 11. They will be your escort, explained Minato to Shibuki. Yamato took the opportunity to introduce his team. I'm Yamato, the leader of Team 11. The rest here are, from right to left, Yakumo, Sai, and Naruto. Shibuki nodded. The name is Shibuki. A pleasure to meet you. When do we leave, Lord Hokage? Tomorrow at 7 a.m. Seem fine? Team 11 will meet up with you at the front gate. It should only be a day's travel, replied Minato. Shibuki nervously replied, it's fine. And with that he left the room. A bit nervous, isn't he? Asked Yamato. Yes, he is, but I've heard the boy can pull his own when needed, said the fourth Hokage. You are now dismissed. Remember, be at the gates no later than 6:30 a.m. This will be your first C rank, so be careful. Hi, replied Team 11. Then one by one Team 11 walked out of the room. Though before Naruto walked out, Minato spoke out. Naruto, could you stay a minute? Naruto stiffened, but did what he was told to. After Yakumo gave him a reassuring smile and left, Naruto was left alone with Minato. Be careful out there. I know you don't usually take my advice, but take this one. Don't do everything on your own. You have your comrades after all, spoke Minato. As well, you might want to tell your mother you're leaving. Don't want to get her angry. Is he trying to say a joke? Naruto chuckled mentally, but wasn't going to chuckle in front of his father. Okay, is that all? Minato grabbed something from his pocket and chucked it at Naruto as fast as he could. Naruto, not even flinching, grabbed it. Your kunai? Asked Naruto. In case things get too out of hand, then use this as a last resort. I'll be there in a flash, explained the fourth Hokage. Naruto turned around and begun walking out. You should really drop the flash pun. They've seemed to have lost their zap. After Naruto had gone, Minato started chuckling to himself. Naruto, the only person I know that would use my pun against me. With Naruto. Naruto was walking down the road, just walking randomly. He knew he would have to get home soon, but his mind kept bringing him back to the kunai. What exactly is he trying to do? Does he do the same with Mito? Talking about Mito, I really haven't seen her. I guess she's too busy with her team. Sasuke did say that Kakashi was making them do the longest D ranks. Naruto then felt something jump on his back. Big brother Naruto, shouted Haruka. Carry me back to the orphanage. Naruto shook his head and grabbed her off his back. You really shouldn't be so lazy, Haruka, or else you're gonna die when the academy begins physical training. Haruka stuck her tongue out. Whatever. The academy is so easy, it's just the dumb history learning I don't like, though Irika-sensei is kind of cool. Naruto agreed. Yeah, I really liked him. He always treated me the same as everyone else. He didn't care if you were the Hokage's son or just an orphan. Who cares about that? I'm talking about how he always makes things so interesting. He actually takes us outside and stuff, not like other teachers, where we sit inside all day, exclaimed Haruka. Naruto shook his head. You'll understand when you're older. Hey, I'm grown up, pouted Haruka. Naruto just laughed at her pout, running his finger through her hair. If you're so grown up, I guess I can't really take you out for ice cream. It's bad for you anyways. And oh, I was kidding, big brother. Let's go get some ice cream, spoke Haruka as her eyes lit up. Naruto pinched her nose. Not today. I have my first C-rank mission tomorrow, and I'll be leaving early. But brother Yuri, always busy, you don't take me out as much, said Haruka as her smile faded. Naruto also frowned at her little sister's dilemma. She's right, I've been so focused on getting an actual mission, I've spent less time with her. Maybe I can be a little late tomorrow, said Naruto as he rubbed his chin. Haruka's eyes lit up. Really? Naruto nodded as he grabbed Haruka and put her on his shoulders. Since I'll be gone for a few days, why don't we make it a triple scoop? Haruka clapped her hands. Yes, then we can have a contest who can finish faster. Then the loser has to do a dare. Naruto then listened to Haruka state a list of dares Naruto would have to do. Naruto just chuckled at how ridiculous each one was. Naruto and Haruka walked towards their favorite ice cream stand. They failed to notice a blonde watching them, her blue eyes watching every single interaction between the two. Mito couldn't help but really envy the girl, and she couldn't understand why. Time skip. Naruto was quickly walking toward the gates. Even though he was going to be there just on time, he actually wanted to be there early. It was only C-rank mission, but he wanted to go over formations with his team. There was a little chance they would actually have to use them, but he couldn't shrug of this bad vibe. Naruto turned a corner and saw the gates in view. As he approached it, he saw his sensei leaning against one of the gates, while Yakumo and Sai were chatting with his mom. "Mom?" asked Naruto as he approached the group. Suddenly, the redhead was engulfed in a bear hug from Kushina. Releasing Naruto, she started to check all over him. I'm all packed," exclaimed Naruto as a huge blush covered his face. "I'm just making sure my baby has everything. I couldn't live knowing my son died on a C-rank mission," teased Kushina. "Mom," said Naruto as he tried to cover up the blush. Yakumo, Sai, and Yamato all laughed at Naruto's dismay. "Don't worry, Lady Kushina, nothing will happen to Naruto. Even if I can't look after him, he can easily hold his own," said Yamato. Kushina puffed her chest. "I know he's my son, and we never give up. Even if we lose, we still win." Everyone's sweat dropped at the logic of that last statement. "Oh, Mom," thought Naruto. "Are we going or not?" Butted in Shibuki. Yamato turned his attention back to the mission. "He's right, Yakumo, Sai, Naruto. We're going." "Hi," exclaimed the three as they followed behind their sensei. Walking out of the village, they waved their goodbyes to Kushina. Outside of village, Naruto walked point, Sai and Yakumo walked behind him, Shibuki in the middle, and Yamato walked at the very end. They walked in total silence, until Yakumo broke the ice. "So what's Taki like?" "It's a beautiful city, but I doubt you will get a chance to look at it," explained Shibuki. "Why?" asked Yakumo. "We let you into our village. Shouldn't it be at least common courtesy to allow us in yours?" Though it was Yamato who answered, "You see, Yakumo, every village has its secrets. What has made Taki such a formidable village is the fact that they have never been successfully invaded. The reason is because the waterfall that surrounds our village provides us a natural maze, which completely hides the entrance of our village, therefore making it almost impossible to infiltrate our village without knowing the exact route. It would take days to get in," proudly stated Shibuki. "Whatever," stated Naruto, not even turning his head around. "Whatever? It's what makes us so formidable," exclaimed Shibuki, irritated. Naruto stopped walking and turned around. "You're right about having an excellent defense, but it's not impenetrable. There is always a weakness. It might not happen anytime soon, but one day someone will find a way to get in, and when that happens, will you be strong enough to protect your village? Like that will ever happen. As well, why would I have to be the one to stop such a foe?" asked Shibuki. Naruto started walking again as he talked. "Well, you are the son of the village leader, right? Therefore you would be his successor. Being the leader of a village means you must be strong enough to defend it from any foe." Shibuki was a bit taken back. He's right. They walked for a few moments in complete silence until Sai asked a question. "Naruto, who told you that everything has a weakness?" "Itachi Uchiha," quietly replied Naruto. Suddenly, everyone gasped. Even Yamato was taken back by the response. "Itachi?" asked Yamato. "You mean the S-rank ninja in the bingo book, Itachi Uchiha?" asked Shibuki. Naruto just nodded his head, yes. "What would he have to do with you?" asked Shibuki. Naruto turned around with his Sharingan active, everything. Shibuki quickly understood what he meant by just simply showing him the Sharingan. He knew about what happened to the famed Uchiha clan. After that last comment, everyone once again remained silent. They continued to walk until Shibuki let out a yelp and pointed to their left. "There's no way they got past me," thought Naruto as he turned to the direction of the yelp. Pulling some shuriken, he threw them at the small movement his Sharingan had been able to track. Sai and Yakumo also took defensive positions in front of Shibuki. Yamato just stood unfazed, having already analyzed the situation. Then suddenly 3 birds with shuriken embedded in them fell out of a tree. The 3 Genin's forehead all grew a big tick. Are you serious, Shibuki? Aren't you supposed to be a respected shinobi from your village? Asked Naruto. I guess each village's standards of a respected shinobi is different. Shibuki clenched his fists. Don't diss Taki, we have produced the finest shinobi, even ones that have fought your first Hokage, and still be alive. Naruto didn't even blink at his response. Yeah, right. Shibuki looked back and forth for a second and responded, yes, we have. You may even have heard of him. His name is Kakazu. Yamato jumped at the name. Now's my chance. Kakazu the bounty hunter? There is no way he can still be alive, he's like ancient history. Shibuki shook his head. As you may know, he is missing Nin from our village. But the reason he left the village was because he stole a forbidden jutsu, which prolonged his life. Yamato didn't want to press on in fear of being convicted of trying to steal information. What's this jutsu? He could steal other people's hearts and use them as his own. Stated Shibuki.S. Oh, the more hearts he steals, the longer he lives. Yamato nodded at the information. Leave it to Naruto to get the information we wanted. Flashback after Naruto and Minato meeting. Yamato walked out of the shadows as Naruto left. Yes, Lord Hokage? The scroll you gave me was a diff. Yes, I assigned this mission to you for 2 reasons. First, as you know, this is supposed to be a simple escort mission, perfect for a new Genin team. The second reason is because I want you to gather some intel. This is an A-rank intel gathering mission for you, stated Minato. Why would we want intel from Waterfall? Asked Yamato. We don't want information specifically on them, but a former shinobi. Jiraiya has been following a group called Akatsuki, which Itachi Uchiha is now part of, and Orochimaru, a former member. Explained the 4th Hokage. Itachi Uchiha and Orochimaru? They're both S-rank ninjas, exclaimed Yamato. Why would a group of S-ranks come together? We don't know, but I have my suspicions, said Minato as he looked at the picture of his wife and daughter. Yamato not noticing where he was looking, he asked, so my mission is to gather intel on Kakazu? Who exactly is this man? Minato looked at Yamato. That's what we want to know. We just know a few things. He was a former Taki shinobi who was ordered to kill the first Hokage, though he failed and somehow managed to escape with his life. We know that he has collected big bounties on big-name ninjas, though none of them over A-ranked missing Nin. We have reason to believe that he may very well be an S-rank ninja recruited into this group. So we need you to gather some intel on him. Yamato nodded his head. Hi. Flashback release. Steal their hearts? That's gross. Why would anyone want to steal someone else's heart? Asked Yakumo as she shook her head. It could be to maybe steal their Kekkei Jinkai. The heart is what creates the body's unique chakra. Butted in Sai. Yakumo gasped as she put her hand over her heart. That's frightening. Yes, a terrifying jutsu indeed. Naruto, I think you should take back what you said. If one can wield a jutsu like that, then the possibilities could be endless. Stated Sai. I guess you're right, Sai, but that isn't a true shinobi. Just some murderous man with frightening jutsu. A real ninja is one that protects everyone, said Naruto as he continued to walk. He's right, guys. Just because one carries a powerful jutsu doesn't mean they're invincible. As Naruto said before, there's always a weakness. You just have to find it, said Yamato. Sai and Yakumo nodded at their sensei's words as they continued to walk, while Shibuki was deeply thinking, a true shinobi. One that protects everyone. Outside of Takigakure. It seems our first C-rank mission is complete, stated Yakumo as they reached the beautiful waterfall. I thought our first C-rank would be much more work, right, Whiskers? Said Sai. Naruto sighed. He had tried to stop Sai from calling him that, though he has had no success. I thought we already went over the fact that every mission isn't exciting as you would wish, spoke Yamato. Shibuki spoke up, having had a change in heart. If you guys want, I could give you a glimpse of our village. Really? Asked Yakumo and Naruto, wanting to see another hidden village. I mean, really? Said Naruto, trying not to sound childish. Drop it, Whiskers, you obviously want to see the inside of the village as much as Flatty, said Sai. Then suddenly Yakumo's fist connected to Sai's temple. What did you call me? Guys, spoke Yamato as he broke up the conversation. Let him finish. Shibuki thanked Yamato. I was going to say you could, but you would have to be blindfolded. and you would have to do one of our D ranks for free. The three genin, including Sai, all moaned. Fine, but let's get going, said Naruto. Stop, shouted Yamato. I need to get the intel to the village ASAP. Though it would look suspicious if I don't accept such an offer. I should just leave them here and come for them tomorrow. Yakumo and Sai will believe me, but Naruto. I need to report back to the 4th Hokage. This was only supposed to be a one-day escort mission, and I'm needed for a Jonin meeting. Lied Yamato. So do the D rank and rest for the night. I'll be back as soon as I can. Sai and Yakumo both nodded their heads, while Naruto gave his sensei a suspicious look. Fine. Naruto, I'm placing you as team captain, replied Yamato. Then the three genin with Shibuki walked toward the entrance. Then Yamato raced back to the village. In trance, Naruto, Sai, Yakumo, and Shibuki approached the waterfall where 4 people were waiting outside. As Naruto got closer, he noticed it was probably a genin squad. There was 2 boys, a girl, and their Jounin sensei. The first boy he noticed had a gray shirt with a blue jacket over. He had curly brown hair and dark eyes. The second boy had a mesh shirt on with a black jacket over it. He had dark straight hair and brown eyes. Their Jounin sensei was a tall man with dark black, curly one had their forehead protector on their heads. Though the one who took Naruto by surprise was the girl. She had short teal hair and orange eyes. She was wearing a white kimono shirt with a white apron-type skirt. She had long white armlets, and her forehead protector right over her left one. Naruto flushed a little thinking how pretty she was, but he couldn't shake off this feeling. Something is wrong about her. Naruto, looking a bit more closely, noticed how the girl was standing a bit timid and behind them, like she was inferior to them. Shibuki, about time. I thought we were going to have to wait all day. Who are the kids? Asked the Jounin. Daiki, these are the ones who escorted me here, and they will be doing a D-rank mission for us, spoke Shibuki. Daiki raised an eyebrow. Why? Shibuki chuckled. They wanted to see the village, so I decided to let them for a price. Daiki laughed with Shibuki. You're cruel, Shibuki. I think my team just might join them. The 2 boys protested. Sensei. Don't sensei me, you haven't done a mission in a while, and it's time for you guys to pull your weight. Look at these guys, no older than you, and already on a C rank, spoke Daiki. Okay, me name is Hoki, said the brown-haired kid. Goro, said the other boy. Yakumo, said Yakumo. Sai, replied Sai. Naruto, and what's your name? Asked Naruto as he pointed at the girl. You don't want to know her name, stated Hoki. Naruto glared at the boy. Why not? Naruto then watched as the both Shibuki and Daiki gave him a glare. She's too shy, and will only make a fool of herself, nervously replied Hoki. Whatever, so what's your name? I'm Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto as he extended his hand. The girl was a bit taken back. He wants to know who I am? I am Fu, softly spoke Fu as she shaked his hand. Nice to meet you. So Shibuki, are we going? Asked Naruto. Then Shibuki pulled out some blindfolds. Put this on. Inside the village. Your job will be to clean up some trash around that big tree over there, said Shibuki as he pointed at the large tree in the middle of the village. Our 3 genin here will be your escorts. I'll meet up with you tomorrow, so stay out of trouble. Hi, said the leaf genin. Naruto and the rest of the genin all headed to start their mission. Arriving at the tree, they begun to clean up. There were some kids playing on the side. Sai begun to talk to the Hoki, while Yakumo talked to Goro. Naruto didn't want to talk to either, already not liking them, since how badly they treated their teammate. In fact, Naruto had noticed that most of the village was the same. He noticed the glares they received when they walked down the street, though it wasn't at them for being foreign ninja, but at the girl. Something here is really off. What could the girl have done to receive so much hate? Did her family do something? Naruto, wanting some answers, approached her. Sofu, why aren't you liked in this village? He watched as the girl put her head down. Because I'm a monster. Naruto was a bit taken back. Then he laughed. You a monster? I've seen monsters. And you're definitely not one. But that's what everyone says, replied Fu as she looked down at her feet. Naruto shook his head. Fu, you shouldn't believe what people say. But I'm a Jinna vermin, said Fu as she went back to cleaning up. Naruto's eyes went wide. Of course, a Jinchuriki. I understand now. So you're the Jinchuriki of Taki, said Naruto as he looked up to the sky. Yeah. Are you going to call me a monster now? Asked Fu angrily. Naruto looked into Fu's eyes. Why would I do that? My own mother is Jinchuriki. Naruto looked at the other Genin, making sure they didn't hear anything. As well, I believe that being a Jinchuriki should be considered a blessing, not a curse. Fu replied, no, it's a curse. These tailed beasts are just demons, who would destroy everything if let out. I'm just a mere vessel to keep it at bay, and maybe one day to control its power. So I may become the village's secret weapon. Naruto shook his head. Do you like how people treat you? Just because you're a Jinchuriki? Fu looked away. Of course not. So think about the tailed beast. They can also touch, speak, feel, and hear like a human. I don't think they like the way they are treated either. An insect-looking beast slowly awake from his sleep. He spread his 7 wings in the air. As he looked through his cage, he heard the words of the boy. Did you know that tailed beasts were created to protect the world? But look at them. Weapons of destruction. If you keep thinking the way you do, then nothing will ever change. I can see the hatred in your eyes. Don't let it take over, Fu. Prove people wrong, and show them that you're worth more than them, said Naruto as he gave her a smile. That's the only advice I could give you. In fact, if you want, we could even become friends, because Fu, I don't see you as a monster, but a beautiful young girl. Fu's eyes went wide, and she allowed a tear to escape. Thank you, Naruto. The beast had heard every word the boy had said. This boy understands the pain of a tailed beast. A blue-eyed boy. Interesting. Could he be the one that father spoke of? Naruto Uzumaki, I will look forward to seeing your path unfold. Then the tailed beast went back to sleep. Boom. An explosion erupted from village leader's house. What's going on? Yelled Hoki. Suddenly, they watched another explosion in the distance. Sai Yakumo Manji formation, shouted Naruto as they rushed into formation. Then suddenly a piece of debris went flying towards the playing children. Naruto quickly took action and jumped in front of them. Water release. Water wall jutsu. Naruto spit out a bunch of water and created a giant wall of water to protect them. Get out of here, go to your parents, Naruto told the children, though the kids just remained frozen in fear. Though one of them was amazed at Naruto's cool jutsu. I don't know where my parents are, but you can protect us. Hokigoro, we need to get them out of here. What is your emergency protocol when the village is under attack? Asked Naruto. Why should we tell you? You could be the enemy? Asked Hoki. Sai then decided to speak up. If we were the enemy, you would be dead right now. So don't be silly. He's right, Hoki. We're supposed to retreat to the waterfall, where we evacuate all civilians. Then await orders from Lord Shibuki's father, explained Goro. Suddenly Shibuki and Daiki arrived on the scene. Team 11 Team Daiki, we're under attack, and we fear Lord Shiba may have fallen, said Daiki. What? But I thought you said no one could infiltrate Taki? Asked Naruto. Shibuki shook his head. It's impossible for a foreign ninja, but a former missing Ninsuin infiltrated our village. He knows the way in, and him and a few of his followers invaded. Then how did he defeat your father? Asked Yakumo. He used to be my sensei before he defected, so he was very close friends with him, but a dispute over the hero's water is what made him detect, replied Shibuki. Hero's water? Asked Sai. Yes, that's probably why Lord Shiba was taken down so easily. You see, the hero's water gives the user a major boost in chakra and allows them to grow much stronger. The only fallback is that the user's life is greatly shortened. Lord Shiba has used it in the past, but it's forbidden for its drawback, explained Daiki. It most likely weaken him. Then suddenly a giant water dragon erupted from the lake. Watch out, shouted Goro. Naruto and Sai grabbed the kids and jumped out of the way. The rest, except Daiki, managed to get out of the way. Daiki wasn't hit completely, but it hit him hard enough to break his leg. AWW, shouted Daiki as he was flung into the tree. Sensei, shouted his 3 students. Shibuki and Daiki, it's been a long time, spoke a long, spiky, gray-haired man with a gray goatee. Then 2 men appeared behind him. One had short brown hair, while the other had his long black hair and a ponytail. So Suan, this is your former student? He looks more pathetic than his father, spoke the brown-haired man. That's cruel, Manju, talking about his father like that, said the ponytailed man. How you're the one to judge about cruelty? You're the one that slit his throat, Shura, said Manju. Don't talk about my father like that, shouted Shibuki. He's just trying to get you mad, Shibuki. Calm down, Naruto told Shibuki. Shibuki, my dear old student, tell me where the hero's water is, or I destroy your village, spoke Suen. Naruto analyzed the three enemies in front of him. If they were able to infiltrate the village, the two followers must be at least Chunin level, while the leader must be Jounin level. We have only one Jounin and 6 Genin who are able to fight. We need backup. As well, we have to get the kids and Daiki to safety, then getting back up is our best bet. We need to send 3 of us to get back up and take Daiki and the kids to safety, while the rest delay these guys and possibly take out the weaker ones. Sai, Goro, and Hoki, you 3 will go take the kids and Daiki to the evacuation point. Once you get there, you must get us back up. The rest of us will delay them as long as we can, ordered Naruto. But Naruto, Sai tempted to protest. Sai, do what I say. I know we don't abandon comrades, but we need backup. These guys are probably Chunin and Jounin levels. If we all stay, we will die, said Naruto. Naruto watched as every Genin's face, except Sai, turned into fear. Sai nodded and motioned Goro and Hoki to help him. Grabbing the children and Daiki, they begun to flee. You aren't going anywhere, shouted Manju as he jumped in the air. Water release. Water trumpet. Naruto activating his Sharingan, copying his jutsu. Water release. Water trumpet. Suddenly, both Naruto and Manju shot a large jet of water from their mouth. The 2 jets quickly collided, canceling each other's jutsu. Naruto, spoke Shibuki. What? Asked Naruto. I need you to stall him. I'm going to get the hero's water, said Shibuki. Naruto looked at him like he was crazy. Are you insane? It's forbidden as well. That's exactly what they want. I know, but Naruto, you made me realize for one to be a real shinobi, they must be willing to fight for their people. So, I want to be the person to protect my village, said Shibuki. Naruto nodded at his change of heart. Fine, but hurry up, or I might just take them out before you get here. Don't get cocky, I'll be back, said Shibuki as he ran toward the tree. Boss, what do we do? Asked Shura. Let's play around with these kids. Shibuki will be back with what we want, said Suen. They'll leave the redhead to me. This one might be too tough for you too. But boss, shouted Manju. Silence, look at his eyes. Don't you see it? He has the famous Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. This kid is no pushover, pointed out Suen. As well, the girl is the Jinchuriki of the 7-tailed beast. Yakumo, Fu, we can't let them separate us, shouted out Naruto. Hi, shouted both Fu and Yakumo. Naruto, how are we going to fight them? Asked Fu. What's the plan, Naruto? Asked Yakumo. Yakumo, remember that Jinjutsu you told me about? The one that uses your Kekkei Genkai? Asked Naruto. Yakumo's eyes went wide. Burning coffin? BBUT, I can't, I've never actually used it on a real person. Naruto looked at Yakumo. Yakumo, I know you don't want to kill them, but it's our only choice. You must use that Jinjutsu. So, tell me, a hat do you need? Yakumo took a long breath and spoke. I need some type of smokescreen to put them under the Jinjutsu. Naruto nodded. Fu, I need you to distract them for just a moment. Enough time for me to set up a trap. Fu nodded at Naruto's orders. They're coming, shouted Yakumo. They watched as Manju and Shura rushed towards them. Yakumo, get behind me and prepare the Jinjutsu. Fu, I need them distracted, shouted Naruto. Hiding in scale powder technique. Fu then exhaled a large quantity of fine powder from her mouth. Naruto watched as the powder shined brightly, blinding the enemy. Perfect, thought Naruto as he went through his own hand signs. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu. Naruto then launched a fireball twice its size toward the 2 blinded enemies, forcing Suen to intervene. Water release. Water dragon bullet jutsu. Then another water dragon erupted from the water and canceled out the fireball. All that was left behind was a giant blanket of mist. So this was his plan, ingenious, thought Fu as she watched the mist covered everything. Yakumo, taking the opportunity, she activated her Jinjutsu, demonic illusion, burning coffin. Suen, Manju, and Shura all tried to jump away from the mist. You idiots, you fell right into their trap, shouted Suen. The mist quickly engulfed them, and they were forced to go into a manji formation. Don't underestimate them again, now make sure they don't attack, ordered Suen. Yes, boss, shouted both Shura and Manju. As they looked around, they weren't able to see anything. Then suddenly a coffin erupted from the middle of the formation. As quickly as the coffin appeared, the hatch fell open, revealing a pair of chakra hands. "Quickly release the Jinjutsu before it gets you," shouted Suan as he released the Jinjutsu. Shura was able to dispel it, but Manju wasn't quick enough. He watched as the hands dragged him in, and the hatch was nailed back on. Then suddenly he smelled smoke, and the hatch erupted in flames. He desperately tried to dispel the Jinjutsu, but his attempts were futile. He suddenly felt his hands burn up, and slowly the rest of his body. He screamed until he had finally died. Outside the Jinjutsu, Suin and Shura both woke up and looked around. They noticed they hadn't moved at all, and the mist had already disappeared. Then a piercing scream turned their attention to their third member. They watched as Manju's skin slowly begun to burn, and his screams got louder until his skin was all burned up. Then he finally dropped dead. Manju cried out, "Shura, what a frightening jutsu. Can't do anything about him now," said Suin. Suin then took his attention to the three genin. "You guys sure are something. To have killed one of yous without even getting injured is impressive enough." Naruto ignored the man as he looked over at Yakumo. He noticed that Yakumo was breathing very hard. She was kneeling down and clutching her head. Her hair was hanging down, revealing the back of her neck. That's when Naruto noticed it. The evil sealing method? Why would she need an evil sealing method seal? Pondered Naruto. Yakumo was clutching her head in pain. This pain? "Yakumo, are you alright?" asked Naruto. Yakumo slowly stood up. "Yeah, it just took a lot of chakra." Fu spoke up. "If it takes so much chakra, then we should just stall the rest, Naruto." "I was hoping Yakumo could have got two of them, but one is enough. Now it's a fair game," stated Naruto. Suan evilly laughed. "Haha, you think you're a match with me? Allow me to show you why I was a jounin of Takiyu Tree Hugger." Suan then attacked Naruto. Naruto was barely able to keep up with him in taijutsu. This guy is fast and strong as well. Taijutsu isn't my area of expertise. I need to get distance and use Jinjutsu or Ninjutsu. Suddenly Naruto's Sharingan was able to track a punch coming from the left, but unable to block it in time. It connected into his stomach. Naruto suddenly felt like his insides were on fire, and he coughed up blood. Suan suddenly kicked him away towards the lake, where Fu was able to catch him. "Your ninjutsu might be better than me, kid, but you aren't quick enough for my level of taijutsu," bragged Suin. "Still, this kid is no pushover. I really had to push myself to land those blows. I can't let him communicate with his teammates, or else he will come up with something to counter my speed." He then looked over at the tired Yakumo. "Though if I kill her, then his judgment would be clouded, and I would get the advantage." "Shura, attack now," shouted Suin. Shura then flew through some hand seals and used water release, water trumpet. Fu, seeing the attack coming, went through her own hand seals and used water release, water wall jutsu to block the upcoming attack. Naruto, trying to recover, watched as Suin begun running away. Where is he going? Then he noticed Yakumo not too far away. "Yakumo, run!" shouted Naruto as he tried to get back up. "Kid, you're not going anywhere. Your friend is good as dead." "That's what she gets for killing Manju," shouted Shura as he once again shot a jet of water from his mouth. Naruto dodged it and went through his own hand seals, wind release, vacuum sphere. He then spit out a bunch of vacuum bullets toward his enemy. Shura was forced to jump away. Naruto, using the opportunity, he shunshined to Yakumo. With Yakumo? "Let me come out and play." Yakumo ringed inside of Yakumo's mind. "Who are you?" "I'm you, Yakumo. I'm the monster you created. The very same that gives your power. Let me out, and I'll kill everyone that brings you pain." "And oh, there's no way," shouted Yakumo as she clutched her head. Suddenly, she watched as a dragon of water arose from the lake and flew towards her. She tried to move, but her head hurt so much. She collapsed back onto the ground, and the seal on her neck slowly disappeared. With Naruto. Naruto appeared not too far away from Suan. Grabbing his kunai, he charged them with lightning chakra and threw them at Suan. Suan laughed. "Not quick enough, kid," and he dodged them, finishing his hand signs. Naruto watched as the water dragon erupted once more, and he watched Yakumo fall to the ground again. Naruto's eyes widened. "Yakumo, get up." Naruto, forgetting about Suan, he was once again kicked in the face and unable to shunshin to Yakumo. Naruto quickly got up and looked Suin right into the eyes. Demonic illusion. Needle acupuncture paralysis Jinjutsu. Suin suddenly felt his whole body freeze up. What did you do to me? Naruto didn't even answer as he raced to Yakumo. He watched as the dragon was a yard away from hitting Yakumo. I can't Shunshin fast enough. No, I won't let Yakumo die. Then Naruto's Sharingan did something unexpected. The three Tomo in his eye spun rapidly until they formed an 8-rounded star with a Tomo between each point. Then little veins begun to appear in Naruto's left eye, and blood begun to drip out. Then Naruto yelled. Back in the village, Team 7 was waiting for their tardy sensei to get at their meeting spot. So, Sasuke, how about we go on a date after our mission? Asked Sakura. Sasuke wanted to just grunt, but he remembered what Naruto said. Just be nice, and give her a good excuse. She will probably leave you alone then. I can't. I have to do some training then meet up with someone, said Sasuke. Mito then butted in. Wow, Sasuke, you actually socialize with people besides Naruto. Like you socialize with people besides Ino, retorted Sasuke. In fact, I do. I socialize with Sakura and Hinata, as well a couple of the villagers, said Mito. So, who are you meeting up with? Is the great Sasuke finally seeing a girl, or are you still crushing on Yakumo? Sasuke blushed, which infuriated Sakura. Sasuke wouldn't see another girl. Mito sighed. Sakura, if you actually put a bit more effort in training than Sasuke, might pay attention to you. Whatever, you probably just like Sasuke too, retorted Sakura. Like I would ever date emo Sasuke, replied Mito. Stop talking about dating, might's annoying, said Sasuke. As for you, Mito, I'm meeting up with the rest of the Uchiha kids later. This piqued Mito's interest because she remembered the girl that Naruto was usually with. Why? Sasuke shrugged his shoulders. I only meet with the ones at the orphanage. I check on them weekly to see how they are doing with school and help them with techniques or homework. As well, I take them out to eat, since my clan left behind a lot of money. Mito was surprised by how much he actually cared about the rest of his clan. Wow, Sasuke, I never thought of you as an older brother type of person. Isn't he amazing? Butted in Sakura, much to Mito and Sasuke's annoyance. Sasuke then responded, me neither, but it was thanks to Naruto. Sasuke then watched as Mito's face took a sour one. What does Naruto have to do with it? He doesn't even know the definition of family if it hit him in the face. Shut up, you don't know Naruto. If you took some actual effort to get to know him, you would actually understand him, retorted Sasuke. Mito just grunted and looked away. Then Kakashi appeared. Sorry I'm late, guys. You see, there was a cat stuck in a tree, and I had to help retrieve it. Kakashi embraced for the usual screaming, but none came. He looked at his team. He noticed Sasuke and Mito were ignoring each other, while Sakura was deep in thought. Guys, I don't know what happened, but you will tell me after we do this. We're already late, so after we're gonna have a nice chat. Got it, stated Kakashi. Hi, responded Team 7. Then they proceeded to the Hokage's office. Hokage's office. Team 7 was inside of Minato's office. They waited for the 4th Hokage to pull out the possible missions when a man walked in. Lord 4th, I have the INT dash. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting, said Yamato. The 4th Hokage waved him off a bit early, but I guess the mission was a success. So, where's the rest of Team 11? Yamato proceeded to answer. You see, Lord Hokage, I was able to gather the intel you needed, but my team was invited to spend the night to rest. As you said, the intel was A rank important. I didn't want to deny the offer and make it look suspicious. So, I left them with Shibuki, and I'll be heading back to get them. Yamato then pulled out a scroll and tossed it to him. There's all the intel. Yamato, I know this information was important, but was that a wise move? Asked Minato. Then Kakashi interrupted, Sensei, if the information was important, then Yamato did the right thing. Waterfall is a secure place, and they wouldn't risk war by hurting some genin. Minato nodded. You're right, I was just overthinking it. Isn't Team 11 Naruto's team? Asked Sasuke. Minato sighed yes. Wait, so Naruto's team already got a C-rank mission? Asked Mito. Minato didn't respond. Then it was Sakura who spoke up. Sensei, if Naruto's team was able to get a C-rank mission, I believe we should too. I agree, stated Sasuke and Mito, not wanting to be left behind by Naruto. Kakashi sighed. I'm going to be hearing about this. Minato sighed. I only handed their team a C-rank mission because it was the perfect mission for a rookie team, and I need Yamato to do the intel gathering. Though I do have another mission. Minato then rubbed his temple. I feel like something bad is gonna this bridge mission seems a bit suspicious. Minato then shouted, call in Tazuna. As for you, Yamato, I'm wanting you to get something to eat and head back for your team. You reach your team. You will go ahead and back up Kakashi's team. Mission details in this scroll. Yamato caught the scroll and nodded. Then he disappeared in cloud of smoke. That's when Tazuna walked into the room. Yes, Lord Hokage. Team 7 will be your escorts, and another team will be sent to back you up, replied Minato. Why does this mission have to include Team 11? Asked Sakura. You see, Sakura, the land of waves is near the land of water. Currently, the hidden village there is under a civil war. Therefore, Team 11 will be there as backup, just in case things get out of hand, answered Minato. Wait, I thought I was going to get some ninja, not some brats, spoke up Tazuna. Even if it's a bunch of brats, I'm a jonin and can handle any bandits that get out of hand, responded Kakashi. Humph, whatever. So when do we leave? Asked Tazuna. Tomorrow morning at the break of dawn, emphasized Minato, which brought a soft chuckle from Kakashi. In Waterfall, Shibuki was running as fast as he could. Turning left down a hallway, he finally reached the room which stored the hero's water. Walking in, he quickly grabbed the bottle and headed out. Naruto hold out just a little longer. Time skip. Naruto appeared not too far away from Suan. Grabbing his kunai, he charged them with lightning chakra and threw them at Suan. Suan laughed, not quick enough, kid, and he dodged them, finishing his hand signs. Naruto watched as the water dragon erupted once more, and he watched Yakumo fall to the ground again. Naruto's eyes widened. Yakumo, get up. Naruto, forgetting about Suan, he was once again kicked in the face and unable to shunshin to Yakumo. Naruto quickly got up and looked Suan right into the eyes. Demonic illusion. Needle acupuncture paralysis Jinjutsu. Suan suddenly felt his whole body freeze up. What did you do to me? Naruto didn't even answer as he raced to Yakumo. He watched as the dragon was a yard away from hitting Yakumo. I can't shunshin fast enough. No, I won't let Yakumo die. Then Naruto's Sharingan did something unexpected. The three tomo in his eye spun rapidly until they formed an 8-rounded star with a tomo between each point. Then little veins begun to appear in Naruto's left eye, and blood begun to drip out. Then Naruto yelled, Kamui. Naruto watched as everything around turned black and red, and then he focused his vision on the dragon. He watched as he opened a sort of vortex on the dragon, and then the dragon was quickly sucked in. During the middle of his stride, he suddenly fell face first into the ground. Naruto slowly made his way back onto his feet. What was that? It took so much chakra, and so quickly. Kamui, I don't ever recall using that jutsu. So how? Naruto then put his hand to his left eye. He suddenly felt a warm, thick liquid. Wiping it onto his fingers, he noticed it was blood. Naruto felt his arms shake. It couldn't be pulling out a kunai. He looked into the reflection. The Mangekyo Sharingan, but when and how? Pondered Naruto. It doesn't matter right now. I need to get to Yakumo. Naruto deactivated the Mangekyo and ran to Yakumo's side. As Naruto got closer, he noticed the seal on her neck was gone. Was I imagining things earlier? Then Naruto touched her back, and his body completely froze. Yakumo's mindscape. Naruto slowly opened his eyes, and all he saw was pink flesh. Naruto lifted his head and took a better look. Naruto almost jumped back as he noticed the wall kind of looked like pink gum. In fact, it kind of looked like the inner wall was a brain. Where am I? Thought Naruto as he walked down the hall. Suddenly, he heard Yakumo scream from behind. Turning around, he ran down the hall. Activating his Sharingan, he entered a huge clearing. Naruto walked in, and he saw Yakumo kneeling down and crying. You're lying, I didn't kill them, shouted Yakumo. That's when Naruto noticed it. In front of Yakumo was what looked like a demon version of her. What's going on here? Am I under a Jinjutsu, or in her actual mindscape? Then the demon spoke. But my darling, it was you. You see, I am you, and you are me. What I do reflects off you. That's why I was sealed away by your precious Kurenai. That's why she didn't want you being a shinobi, spoke the demon. Naruto had enough. Shut up, Yakumo, don't listen to it. Yakumo turned around. Naruto? but I killed my parents. Accidents happen, Yakumo, and you can't change the past. Only change the future. So don't listen to it, yelled Naruto. The power of the seal relies on the power of your will. What do you know, you didn't kill your family, shouted Yakumo as she broke down crying. Hee, it seems you fell to my genjutsu. It was a mistake coming here, child, and now you will die, screamed the demon. Naruto then watched as his body slowly begun to disappear. Oh no, the Sharingan can't break this genjutsu, but Naruto closed his eyes. Yakumo, I know exactly how you feel, stated Naruto without opening his looked up to Naruto in confusion. I also killed the person I considered my brother, but you want to know what? Even at his death, he told me that he loved me no matter what, and I bet your parents do too. So I used that mistake to learn that one's will doesn't die when they die. Naruto whispered Yakumo as she wiped away the tear. Mangeki Sharingan, shouted Naruto as he opened his eyes, revealing the 8-rounded star. Then Yakumo watched as the genjutsu placed on Naruto dispelled. How? It should be impossible to pierce my genjutsu with just the Sharingan, but what's the Mangekyo Sharingan? Naruto then shunshined in front of the monster and went through some hand signs. Lightning release, lightning palm. Naruto then slammed the palm of his hand into the chest of the monster, sending it flying across the clearing. Yakumo, only you can reseal this monster, spoke Naruto. But that I can't, that I'm not strong enough, breathed out Yakumo as she fell to her knees. Naruto turned around and smiled. Yakumo, yes you can because I believe in you. Yakumo got up and wiped the remaining tears. You're right, Naruto. I'm a ninja, part of Team 11, the team that doesn't give up. Yakumo walked to Naruto's side. So, how are we going to do this, Naruto? Naruto then laughed and rubbed the back of his head. Actually, I was hoping you had some more knowledge on the evil sealing method. I never thought I would need to use it in battle. Yakumo's sweat dropped and begun shouting. So how are we supposed to stop it? Well, once the seal is broken, someone can rebuild it, or that you could reinforce it with another seal, explained Naruto. I'm guessing you don't know how to rebuild it. So do you know any seals up to the task? Asked Yakumo. In fact, I do, but I'm going to need you to weaken it, said Naruto as he pointed at the disabled demon. You do? Asked Yakumo, surprised. Yes, my mother was going to teach me the 8 trigrams sealing jutsu, just in case Mito ever lost control. So I'm learning the basics, and one of those include the 2 symbol seal. That should be more than enough to seal this, explained Naruto. Fine, so what do I need to do? Asked Yakumo. Naruto unsealed the last weapon he had. You need to stab it right into the heart. Stab it with this, and I'll be able to drag him into the seal. Naruto flashed through some hand seals and fell to a meditating pose. Hidden Uzumaki Fuin Jutsu. 2 symbols seal jutsu. Then the seal on the sword changed. The Uzumaki crest was suddenly surrounded by a faint circle, and 2 characters appeared outside of the circle. Yakumo, hurry, I can't hold it for long, shouted Naruto. Yakumo nodded and grabbed the sword. Feeling a bit unbalanced at first, she quickly got the hang of it. She sprinted towards the demon, who was still immobilized from Naruto's jutsu, and pierced the sword through her chest. Yakumo, why do you refuse me? I am you. And you are me, screamed the demon as he begun to glow. You're not me, shouted Yakumo as she pushed the sword deeper. Naruto then jumped from his spot and appeared behind Yakumo. Each one of his finger glowed, and he slammed it right onto Yakumo's neck. Seal. Naruto and Yakumo watched as something tied it down to the ground. Get away, shouted Naruto as he grabbed her and jumped away. Suddenly the room became much shorter, and a 10-foot fence fell between the demon and Yakumo. Yakumo, this is not the end of me, seethed the demon. Naruto and Yakumo looked at each other very tired. Naruto once again deactivated his Sharingan. Yakumo, you can never let anyone know about my Sharingan, spoke Naruto. Yakumo looked at Naruto confused. I was meaning to ask, what is the Mangekyo Sharingan? Naruto stood back up and shook his head. It's a forbidden stage of the Sharingan, for several reasons, which I will not explain to you to keep it a secret. Though I beg you, Yakumo, you can't tell anyone. You can't tell Sensei, Sai, the Hokage, your family, or anyone. I'm putting a lot of trust in you, so please don't let me down. Yakumo was still confused. I don't understand though. There is lots of forbidden jutsu in the world, and lots of people know about them. Naruto grabbed Yakumo by the shoulder Yakumo, if you tell anyone, people will begin to find out. If people find out, they will come after me. They will kill me and steal my eyes. I have developed my eyes to a stage where only 5 people before me have achieved. Right now, I'm not strong enough to defend myself from such foes. Yakumo nodded, realizing how serious her friend was. Seriously? They would steal your eyes? Yes, replied Naruto. So how do we get out of here? Yakumo then released the situation they were in. Oh, that I just released the Jinjutsu. Kai. Back to Taki. Naruto stumbled back and watched Yakumo get back up. Naruto looked around, noticing that not a second had passed. A Jinjutsu that can control the perception of time? That's similar to Tsukuyami. Naruto suddenly fell to his knees and was panting really hard. I didn't lose all my chakra, but I lost it too quickly. Yakumo saw the situation her friend was in. Naruto. She helped him back up, and that's when Shura appeared by Suian and helped him release the Jinjutsu. Suian fell to his knees after being released from Naruto's Jinjutsu. Fu then appeared by Yakumo's and Naruto's side. Are you guys alright? Asked Fu. And how did you stop his jutsu? Yakumo answered for Naruto. It was a special jutsu of his. Naruto gave Yakumo a thankful glance. I don't care how you stopped the first one, but you aren't getting away from the second, screamed Suin. Shura, you too. Then both Suin and Shura both went through the same hand seals and both used water release, water dragon bullet jutsu. 2 dragons both erupted from the lake and went rushing towards the 3 genin. Naruto once again activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. I guess I have no choice. Then suddenly a bigger dragon erupted and canceled out the other 2. A bunch of water went flying all over the place, soaking everyone. Then suddenly Shibuki appeared in front of Naruto, Yakumo, and Fu. Naruto noticed that a blue aura surrounded him, and he felt the chakra in the air. Naruto, I am sorry I'm late. Spoke Shibuki, now leave him to me. So you've already taken it? Haven't you, Shibuki? Asked Naruto. Yes, and no, it's my turn to attack. Water release. Water sword, shouted Shibuki as he created a large sword out of the puddle by his feet. It seems you aren't as much of a coward as I thought you were, Shibuki shouted Suin as he also created the same sword, though the student can't beat the master. Then Shibuki and Suin both went flying at each other at extremely fast speeds, swords colliding, and surprisingly sparks erupted. They both kept at it until Shibuki knocked Suin's away. Though before he could take the offensive, Shura intervened. Pulling out his own kunai, he attempted to defend his boss, though his attempt was futile because Shibuki easily broke through his defense. Shibuki was able to land a fatal blow right through his heart, though that was Shibuki's mistake. Having had his sword embedded into Shura, Suin used the opportunity to stab and kick Shibuki away. As Shibuki was kicked away, the hero's water fell from his jacket. Shibuki was caught by Naruto before he hit the ground. Suin, having seen the bottle drop from his jacket, rushed to retrieve it. Haha, it's all over now. Naruto looked back down at Shibuki and noticed that the blue aura was completely gone. In fact, he looked in terrible shape. So this is the drawback of the hero's water, and it looks like he didn't even drink a lot, though the effect was big. Naruto watched as Shibuki began to gulp down about 1/4 of the bottle. So now the task is to take away the water and wait for the effects to take place. Once his body begins to slow down, he will enter a worse state than Shibuki. Though before Naruto could communicate with Fu and Yakumo, he watched Shibuki disappear in a blur. Appearing in front of Yakumo, he punched her in the stomach and sent her flying. Yakumo shouted Naruto, and he then watched as he was about to kick Fu in the face. Then his body just reacted. He shunshined in front of Fu and took the kick for her. Naruto slammed into Fu, and they were both sent flying across the clearing. Fu looked at Naruto with horror. Why did you do that? Naruto wiped the blood from his cheek. I didn't know. My body just reacted. I guess I just didn't want you to get hurt. Fu was a little shocked at what Naruto had said. He cares about me that much? Naruto slowly got back up, and he faced away from Fu. He then reactivates his Mangekyo Sharingan and focuses on the bottle. So, I need to focus my eyesight on the bottle and twist it? Flashback a few weeks ago with Haruka. Hey big brother, can you help with this? Asked Haruka as she pointed to the leaf on her forehead. Naruto laughed as he remembered when Shursui tried to teach him. What are you trying to do, Haruka? Haruka gave Naruto a big smile and replied, I'm trying to get the leaf an inch of my forehead and spin it. Naruto gave her a questioning look. Spin it? What happened to getting it stuck on your forehead? Haruka gave him a ridiculous look. Are you crazy? That's like fourth year stuff. This is supposed to be an easier one. Well, the standards at the academy have sure dropped. I learned that when I was like 7, replied Naruto. Brother, I don't have time for your ancient history. Are you going to help me or not? Asked Haruka, a little irritated. Naruto pinched Haruka's nose. I'm not even that old, Haruka. I'm like 7 years older than you. Haruka knocked Naruto's hand away and stood up. She then made some dramatic hand motions. But that's a lot of years, therefore you are old, big brother.